So, guys, we're so glad to have you join us. We know that today is a busy day, but this is a message that's perfect for Thanksgiving because we need to all learn how to just breathe through all the stress and all the cooking and all the things. So, I hope that this message is a blessing for you. If you catch it after Thanksgiving, it's perfect timing for Christmas. So, enjoy. And I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Okay, so let's just totally be real because when we think about Christmas time, by the time it all rolls around, we're just exhausted, maybe even snappy or sick, depending on the weather. And yet we call this the most wonderful time of year. Like if holidays tend to wipe us out, but I want everyone who's listening to know that you are not alone. And today I'm sitting down with someone who gets it on every level. Bethany Thomson is the host of Nourishing Her Midlife Rest. She's here with me, and we're going to go ahead and show you how to actually find that rest physically, emotionally, and spiritually this holiday season. So don't miss out on the beauty of this season because this is going to be a great message. I am Michelle, and I help Christian midlife women find beauty in themselves and in life after insecurity and burnout and all the things. And so, if you're craving deeper rest and more joy in this season, Bethany's got a free resource that's going to help you sit down and find that rest and the reset you need. And so, we'll share those details at the end on how you can get access to that. So, a quick check in for anybody who is listening. I do want to know, and I read everyone's comments. What's one thing that usually drains you the most this time of the year? Okay, you guys, I'm so excited to introduce you to today's guest, Bethany Thomson. She's a functional dietitian. And what I love about her is that she doesn't just help women fix their diets, which is awesome all in its own, but she helps them breathe again, literally and spiritually. And you're going to find that out. It's so beautiful. She brings this really powerful, faith centered approach to healing that honors the whole woman in body, mind, and spirit. And so during these holidays, when so many of us are holding everything together by a thread for everyone else, I think her message is going to be one we all need to hear. And so, Bethany, before we dive in, can you just share with us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Certainly. And I'm just so glad to be here with you and your listeners today, Michelle. I'm a wife and a mama of five. So we have three teenagers and a preteen, and our youngest is in preschool. So we have a very full life right now. And we live on our family farm outside of the Nashville, Tennessee area. And I've been in the nutrition world over 20 years now, which is crazy to say that. I'm also a holistic life coach, and I work with women, especially in midlife, who feel tired and disconnected or like their bodies have become strangers. Um, and what you said is so true. What I've learned over the years is that most women don't need another health plan or a diet, they just need a place to breathe. And so I help them calm their nervous systems, restore their energy, and just really rebuild a sense of safety in their own bodies, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, so they can flourish instead of just pushing through. Um, and that's really the heart of my podcast, too, Nourishing Her Midlife Rest, where we explore what it means for Christian women in perimenopause and beyond to rediscover rest for our bodies and souls, right in the middle of real life. Um, so my work really bridges the science of nutrition with the soul work of healing and help women come home to themselves and God's presence within their daily rhythms.
I love that. And so, in your experience, what's that connection between rest and beauty? Because I know you and we've had a conversation about this.
Hmm.
And especially during the holidays when so many women are running on empty, I think this is an important message.
Yes. And rest and beauty are so deeply connected. And I love even that prompt in the conversation you and I have had around that. Because especially in a season like the holidays, and everything around us is it's glittery and it's full of sensory beauty. The lights, the music, the scents, they're all meant to awaken wonder. But when we're running on empty, even beauty can start to feel like pressure. And we're surrounded by these things, that should bring us peace, and yet our bodies and souls are just too tired to even take them in. I really see beauty as like a conduit to rest and also a fruit of rest. And sometimes beauty is just like it just stops us in our tracks. Like I saw a flaming hillside of trees the other day, or I hear a child's laughter, and or a song, that comes on, especially during the holidays, that just reaches our weary hearts. And those moments of awe just soften us enough to breathe again. It's like beauty arrests our attention so that God can whisper to us, "Be still. I'm here."
I that is so, so true. And it's funny because sometimes that beauty can be so captivating that it just gives
Mhm.
you an exhale.
Yes.
Because in the breathing process, when you're doing breath work, a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
are thinking on the take in the air more than they
Mm-hmm.
actually realize that that exhale is so much of that release that we have and we need to release. And so when I see beautiful
Yes.
things like you mentioned, like the leaves changing and everything, sometimes I just find myself going,
Yes.
so beautiful, right?
Yes. And that exhale, you're making the space for the beauty, right?
That's right. That's right. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is a perfect little teaser because I know that a lot of people listening, like they want to hear more about this type of rest, right? So let's go ahead and talk about the how, if you don't mind, because I know so many women listening, they're thinking, that sounds amazing. I need that exhale. But how do I actually do that when I've got 47 things on my to-do list or
Mm-hmm.
my plate or dishes on my kitchen counter that I need to finish up before everybody comes in and have the bedrooms all ready before everybody comes to
Yes.
visit, right? But how do they do that during these holidays? Because we're not talking about just one holiday here. So that's why I think this is
Mm-hmm.
such a great message. We've got Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas and New Year's, and there's a lot of pressure around all of them.
So when women come to me, most of them feel so overwhelmed. Like you said, all these different things. I don't really even know what I need to be doing for my own health. There's so many good things to focus on. And it's almost like we become paralyzed. So that's why I like to slow it way down. Just slow it down and listen to our bodies, to our stories, to our soul. And so then we can really start to discern what's really needed in this season. Um, and I like to help women get really personalized with that pathway, something that's deeply aligned and peaceful and sustainable. Um, and so as we tune in again, I almost sense that as like a mother bending low and listening to her child with gentleness and curiosity and compassion, as we create that space in the exhale. I like to think of it in a framework I've called REST, rest. And so practically, we start with return. That's just learning how to come home to our body and to God's presence instead of living in this survival mode
Yeah.
where we're just going from one thing to the next, especially in this holiday season when our calendars are full. Then embracing. The E is for embrace, embracing the season that we're in, letting go of perfection and welcoming what our body actually needs with grace. I work with a lot of women who have chronic diseases, autoimmune conditions, and reality is that she can't keep pushing through in the season. She's going to crash come January, or even her body won't even hold her that entire time. So, embracing where we are gives us space to really experience that beauty in a way that's recognizing the reality. Where we sustain, that's the S stands for, that we rebuild steady rhythms of nourishment and sleep and calm so our bodies can become ready to trust safely again. And even in this season, that's so important to have those rhythms that your body can count on. Just like we would have a bedtime routine for children, sometimes that's what we need for ourselves during this time is a steady rhythm. And finally, we tend learning how to carry that peace into our everyday life through meals, relationships, our faith, our home, and it's that steady rhythm of rest. So I don't see rest as a quick fix or a rigid plan. It's more just again, a rhythm of listening and responding. Because when we really learn how to listen to our body and to the spirit, we can live with peace instead of pressure. And so I'm wondering, what? Maybe it's not really the magic of the season that we're missing. Maybe it's the stillness that lets us see it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful framework. I mean, in some ways it's similar to how I process my framework with people when I'm doing face exercise with them, right? Because your skincare is
Mm-hmm.
not just about the product you're putting on your skin. so much of it is having to tune in and listen to your body's needs, right? Your nutrition, your
Yes.
hydration, your sleep, and all the things.
Hmm.
And it's interesting because as I was preparing for this topic, it got me to thinking, like, how am I planning on slowing down and approaching these holidays in a way that I can be present and enjoy them too? Because I'm the one who does all the cooking, right? And I think most women who are listening,
Hmm.
probably that's true for them
Hmm.
too.
Hmm.
And I look at it and I think it usually takes me a week of preparation between the grocery shopping and then chopping everything ahead of time so that the day of, and then you've got your schedule where you've timed out your oven,
Yes.
and meanwhile people are coming in to stay, so you're showing them the bedrooms while something's cooking and you're hoping that it doesn't burn
Yes.
before you end up back in. And I just thought,
Uh-huh.
what am I going to do different this year? I need to do
Hmm.
something different this year, because when it's that distracting, you can't pause to ask yourself what you need. You
Hmm.
right? You're on that
Hmm.
train and it's hard to get derailed off that train once you've started that. It's an avalanche, right?
Yes.
And so it's good to ask these questions ahead of time. How am I going to give myself the day that I need to enjoy and be present? And so I came up with a solution this year that I think is going to work. Instead
Okay.
of, I asked the family, are you okay if we don't do a traditional Thanksgiving meal? And
Mm.
most people said yes. And I said, okay, then I think what we're going to do is steak in a potato bar. If everyone can bring their own meat, Jonathan will put it on the grill and the smoker, and then
Uh,
everybody bring a topping for the potato bar. And of course, I'm going to do a couple of the traditional things that I know everybody loves, but it won't be
uh-huh.
the whole meal. So we'll still have, our cranberry relish. That's a family favorite.
Uh-huh.
And I have found a way to make a clean enough pumpkin cheesecake. So I'm going to do that, right?
Mm.
And so it's like, so there's still going to be the nostalgia pieces, the parts that
Uh-huh.
matter, but all the rest will get to just
Yes.
be together. And so I love how your framework really does have you dial in and pay attention to all the things. Okay,
Hmm.
so if someone is totally listening today and thinking like, all of this sounds great, I've needed this for years, like I want you to know it's not too late, right? All your
Hmm.
future
Yes.
holidays can be filled with this joy and presence that we're talking about. Um, so, but you definitely want to get connected with Bethany. So, Bethany, how can they stay connected with you and start working with you?
Yes. So I'd love to invite women into one of the two pathways that I offer. Both are rooted in rest and both are designed to help you come home to what I say is a sense of wholeness. And so I have one for women who are more soul tired, disconnected, unseen, ready for a slower, more intentional way of living. And one for the woman who's weary in her body. She's just struggling with fatigue and hormone imbalance, inflammation. And I have a functional nutrition pathway that combines science with grace. And together, in both of these, we uncover what your body's asking for to restore energy and peace and rhythm from the inside out. Both places, we begin gently with space to breathe and listen to what your body and spirit needs even in this season. So you can learn more about each one of those at ingrainedliving.com, which is my website. And if you're in Tennessee or one of the states where I'm licensed as a dietitian, I offer virtual nutrition therapy sessions, and a lot of times these are covered by insurance. So it's a great way to use your insurance benefits in a way that also benefits your soul. Um, and if you need a soft place to begin, just come find me at Nourishing Her Midlife Rest. It's available wherever you listen to your podcasts.
I love that. I love that. I think too, even if there's women out there who are listening and they're like, I don't need this right now, it's so great to have this in your back pocket because there are
Mhm.
times and seasons in our life where so many of us, we do feel unseen and we do feel
Mhm.
like we've broken down. I mean, I lived with 13 years of autoimmune disorder that kept me in
Mm.
bed more than I was able to walk around and participate in my life. And
Uh-huh.
so, way back then, I would have been excited to have found you. So I'm so glad that at
Mm.
least now we get to get the word out.
Yes.
So for women who are listening right now, and might already start feeling that overwhelm of that avalanche beginning, what are just two or three very small things that they can do this week to just start experiencing that rest, maybe learning how to tune into their body, just anything that you'd like to add on that?
I love that question because sometimes I think we overcomplicate rest. So we mean it things like we've got to clear the calendar completely or just take a whole week off. But really, those small shifts do help us live from peace instead of pressure. So the first thing is to name what matters most. We've already said that. This is going to look different for everyone, but for some people, it may be tending to your body after a stressful year. Others, it may be reconnecting with your spouse or bringing back that sense of play and joy that's been missing. But once you name it, once you say, this is what I want to tend this season, you can begin to shape your days around it. So that lays us in the second thing I call the daily planting practice. And this is where we're writing things down, writing down that commitment. And then each morning, just taking 2 minutes to write down 1 to 3 small intentions that align with what matters most to you. You may only write 1 or 2, and that's perfectly fine, but no more than 3. And these are not to-do list items. It's just simple intentions to help you anchor your day and move you gently forward toward what you're committed to nurture in this season. So if your focus is tending to your body, one of your intentions that day might be, I'm going to eat a protein and fiber rich breakfast so I don't crash and crave those cookies later, right? Or if it's connection, maybe it's, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to share dinner with my family right now on this Tuesday night without multitasking. Or if it's spiritual renewal, maybe today I'm going to end today with 5 minutes of just quiet prayer, even stillness. So these little seeds that we plant daily help us live out our values instead of being swept away by the noise and even the excitement of the season. And so it's not about doing more, right? I said two or like just a few things. It's about doing what actually brings us life. And so when we live this way, I think we stop trying to chase that beauty and we start to experience it because we're finally present in there. So if someone wants a simple place to start with that, I'd love to gift the planting page that I've created. It's just a 1 page rhythm to help you pause and plant peace and live from rest this season. So they can download that for free at ingrainedliving.com/planting page, or I'll also share a link for you to have in the show notes if you'd like, Michelle. But these
That'd be
practices
great.
aren't about performing rest. Yes, they're just positioning ourselves to receive that rest and to live
I
from beauty.
I love what you said. You know, you stop chasing that beauty and you start living it. Like that is the essence of what this podcast is all about, right?
Mm,
We just have our focus on so many things. And if we can just shut down those things, we can start walking in that beautiful life. And so I think this year, I'm going to put a post it note on my stove or my oven, maybe both, that just says family, because that's the
I
whole
love
point
that.
of Thanksgiving this
I
year
love
is
that.
family. So if I burn whatever's in there, that's
Mm-hmm.
okay because I still got my family out there in the living room, right? So I think
Yes,
I think that's so great. I'm gonna totally do that.
that's great. And I wish I
uh,
could have a slice of your cheesecake. I really do. That sounds
yeah.
delicious.
Well, I have so many food restrictions and allergies and things that I never want to return back to those foods because I lived
Mm-hmm.
13 years in those autoimmune disorders and
Mm-hmm.
was able to pull myself out of it. And so
Yes,
and I thankfully, dairy is not a problem for me.
that's great.
so, so
Yes.
that's where I'm like, okay, I could probably figure this out. You know, we can do a
Uh-huh.
nut crust and we can do, and so
Yes.
I do get very, very excited. I guess for anybody who might be interested in the recipe, I could probably post it in the Facebook group.
Mm,
So
that sounds
anybody
delicious.
who wants that recipe, go join the Making Life Beautiful Again Facebook group, and I will post it in time for this message. This message today, I feel like has been so rich, and I feel like we just barely scratched the surface. But at the same point in time, it's so foundational for anybody who's listening. You know, I know that you can walk away just going, okay, somebody's getting it. They all know we're in it together. Like it's holidays are supposed to be magical, but sometimes they don't feel that way because we're the one trying to create that magic. But what if we lean
Mm-hmm.
into the Lord and let Him create the magic, and then we get to walk in it with everyone around us, right? Um,
Yes.
and so it is so important to be able to go into these seasons feeling rested, so that you don't wear yourself down at Thanksgiving before you've gotten to Christmas and New Year's. So I am just going to be praying for all those listeners that this season is going to be one of the most beautiful ones that you've experienced because of this message. So if you've been nodding your head through this whole episode and you're totally thinking, I need more of this in my life, I want to encourage you to go and stay connected with Bethany. She has such a gift for walking women through this healing in a way that honors your body, your story, your faith, your mind, you know, all the things. And so, again, one more time, tell the listeners where they can get these resources, and then we'll move on to what's happening next week.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. So I'd love to have you visit ingrainedliving.com and you can explore how I help women in midlife find healing and renewal through rest, nourishment, and grace-based care.
So good. And so next week, I've got something really special planned for everyone. We're going to be talking about your midlife beauty breakthrough plan for 2026, and it's not going to be what you think. So I'm going to just leave it there. But if you're feeling stuck or invisible, unsure how to make space for your own growth and glow in the new year, this one's going to be for you. It's going to be in a rest style method, like we've been talking about today. So I'm going to be walking you through like simple but powerful and clear ways to get confident and build that plan that reflects who you are becoming. Right. So go ahead and follow or subscribe. You don't want to miss it. And I want to say thanks again to Bethany for being here. Thank you for spending a part of your day with us. I know that your day is filled with your clients. And so we thank you that you did this with us. I'm just commissioning everyone listening to just go into this season with rest as your thought, knowing that it's, like she said, not having to stop and take a vacation, right? Because sometimes we need that rest in the daily practice of our lives. And so
Mhm.
choosing what matters and choosing to make that life beautiful in a way that you're able to experience it just one moment at a time, one breath at a time, one exhale at a time. And so I love that we got to talk about this today. So I'll see you guys all next week.